Okay, hope everybody's doing well. What we're going to take some time right here is discuss the different parts of a wall frame, all the different types of uh, pieces that can be used in construction of a wall and construction. The first couple are pretty self-explanatory. The first one, and you'll see that on the back of your handout, there is a sheet where you can fill out the definitions for each term. I'll put that up at the end, so that way you can have time. You can pause this video and be able to record it then, or be able to write that down then. The first being a top plate, which is the one that's it's the top section of the wall. It's the top wall. It's the top of the wall frame. This one specifically is a double top plate. All right. And then the next one we have is our bottom plate or our sole plate, and that's going to be the bottom part of the wall. All right, so we have those two labeled right there. All right. The next one we have is a stud, which is a vertical framing member in a building's wall. There's an example of a stud right here. After that, we have our headers, which is a simple beam size to support the load above the opening it spans. All right, and this is often used. It could be a double header or it could be a single header. It just kind of depends on if it's going to be used either for a door opening or a window opening. So we have two of those listed here. One header is right here, and right there. Then after that, we have our king stud. Okay, our king stud is a full height stud nailed to a jack stud. They support the assembly between two plates. Okay, so then the example on this one right here, let's see if I can find it. You see this arrow is pointing right here. This is a full length stud that it's attached that goes from the top of the bottom plate to the bottom of the top plate, and it's going to be connected to this smaller stud, which is called the jack stud, which we'll label that in a minute. Okay, but that's going to be our king stud right here. And then I'm going to see if we have another one. I think that's the only one that we have labeled for that. So the king stud is only demonstrated once. Another example of a king stud would be, and I'm going to put a KS right there just so you know that. And that's another spot. That's another spot where a king stud would be used. After that, we have our jack stud or our trimmers. Is another one that they're called. It fits underneath the header. They transfer the load that the header carries down to the bottom plate and framing beneath the wall. So this right here is an example of a jack stud. All right, and then we have another jack stud right there. Okay. So those are just, as you can see, they're the ones that are connected underneath the header. And then you have a sill, which is the bottom of a window opening, and of course that's listed right here. Hence how you get the term window sill. So that takes care of that one there. Let's see if I have anything else to label. I have two other spots to fill in, and those are known as what are called cripple studs, and they are short pieces that run under a sill, or they can also run above a header towards the top plate just to provide a little more protection. All right, so that in turn lays out the different parts of a wall frame section. Uh, in some construction, not all of these are going to be used, but at any time, especially like when you're speaking of the cripples, the jack stud, the king stud, whenever you're having some type of opening that you have to build, whether it be a window or a door, you'd have to use those in the appropriate spots. And we'll kind of go over those later when we go over at where we actually build the frame construction, so that you'll better be able to have a visual of that and whatnot. And the terms on the back, I would recommend writing down those definitions right now. That should be all of them. I'm going to leave them up, and then that way you can get that information written down.